It's like being awake in a dream, like watching a movie play out in my mind. Other lives, other versions of me, existing across the multiverse, transmitting a message, a broadcast. Do you remember? We're all eternal, stars wandering through infinity, on a quantum journey back to self. Are you ready?
Welcome back to Wandering Star. In this episode, we open the portal to a live quantum hypnosis session, a raw, unscripted journey across timelines, archetypes, and the hidden architecture of the soul. This is more than a story. It is an invitation to remember, to reimagine, to awaken the creator within. Are you ready? Hi, Hillary.
Hey, Keish.
You ready?
I am. Yeah.
You are?
This is our first time doing this recorded.
I know.
And first time sharing it with people. So I'm excited to see what comes through.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I'm really excited about this. So, and just so people know, this is just a kind of a spur of the moment little experiment that we're doing here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. With really just like, and I don't really know what we're doing. You know, Keisha's going to kind of prompt me and see what comes through. We just had the idea to do this and record it and share with the intention of just really gathering information, I suppose. So
yeah, that's definitely what we're about to do. So
yep.
Okay. Okay, close your eyes.
Yep.
Breathe into your belly. Big breaths into your belly. Filling your belly with bright white light healing energy. Bring a few breaths into your brain, filling your brain with bright white light healing energy. A few breaths into your heart, filling your heart with bright white light healing energy. Now just a couple breaths connecting your brain, your heart, and your belly. And just breathe normally. I'm going to ask you to go above the earth. Go in the space above the earth. And tell me, as you're in that space, is it light or dark?
Well, I feel darkness, like it's darker behind me, but it feels like I'm close enough to the earth that I feel a bit of radiance from it.
Okay.
Like,
perfect.
you know, like a light illuminating from it. But if I were to go back much further, it would, you know, become dimmer.
Okay. Do you feel like you would like to go back further, or do you like where you are?
I kind of like where I'm at.
Okay. And I want you to bring the grid into your awareness.
Yeah.
Describe that to me.
It's like this pulsing, um, lines of energy, but it's in when I first felt the grid, it felt like this thing that just sort of curved around the earth, and now it's like I feel it going through, and I mean it's like it is everything, right? So it's not just this thing that curves around the earth. Before, the first time I saw it, it felt more like a net, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's almost like I can see it going through the earth, and then it just it keeps like pulsing out of it,
Okay.
you know. Um, like it's everything. It's everywhere.
Bring that pulsing feeling into your entire body. Are you able to feel it in your entire body, or is there anywhere that you're not feeling it as much?
No, I feel it everywhere. Oddly enough, I feel it very strongly in my big toe on my right foot. It's like
Interesting.
this really powerful pulse.
Okay.
It's almost like I can feel my heart beating really strongly in my big toe.
Perfect. In your right or left foot?
Right foot.
Okay. So, with that feeling in your big toe, I want you to find the place on the earth that has the most oppression. And I want you to allow your big toe to guide you to that place. And once you've arrived there, let me know what the surface of the earth is like once you've landed in the place with the most oppression.
I should say my first impression is a jail cell.
Mm. What is the ground like?
It's dirt.
Mm.
It was like my first impression is a jail cell, and what came very quickly after was like a cave.
Do you feel like you're in one of those spaces or no? Or are you able to go into one of those spaces?
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you go to?
It's
Or are they both the same?
it's the same thing. It's the same. It's like this cave. It feels like it's this really big underground prison.
Mm. Does it feel like there are people in there?
It's like my big toe is going crazy right now too.
Mm.
There's tunnels, like it's a very intricate. There's tunnels. I see like lighting in the tunnels.
Where's the lighting coming from?
It's just these lights like on the walls. It's
Like electrical lights or some other form of light?
no, it's electric. Yeah,
Hmm.
they're kind of they're not that bright, but I see them spread out down this long hall or like long passageway.
Can you get close to one of the lights?
It's got like a almost like a metal cage thing over it.
Okay. Is there a light bulb?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's long
Hmm.
and it's got like this metal thing to prevent it from being smashed, maybe, or it's like a protective cover over the light almost.
Okay. Can you start walking down that hall?
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to smell what it smells like in that space?
Yeah, it smells like earth, you know.
Breathe that
Hello.
breathe that smell into your entire body.
There's like a scorpion or something nearby. I can feel it.
Like a small insect?
Yeah, but I mean, it
Danger?
feels like a scorpion. Yeah.
Okay. Can you find it?
Yeah, I see it like skirting along the edge of the hallway.
Does your body feel younger, middle-aged, or older? Or like your body now?
Right. Yeah. It feels similar to my body now, like age wise,
Mm-hmm.
maybe late 30s. And I feel um, like I'm a man. I'm wearing black combat boots.
Mm.
And I just had the impression of just like squishing the scorpion and getting a like big rush of satisfaction at the feeling that I could just squash something.
Describe that feeling.
What's that?
Describe that feeling of satisfaction.
Like it just is
Do you
almost
feel
like a feeling of, just kind of a gross sense of power. Like, oh, I can just squash this little thing with my big boot and
mm,
whatever.
okay.
Like I didn't have to. I went out of my way to just walk over and tramp on the thing, you
Oh,
know.
okay.
I have a feeling that I have a very large machine gun
Mm,
around my, like, strapped to my chest.
okay.
And these boots that lace up to like mid calf, maybe. And it's like kind of a gray and black camouflage type pant.
Mm,
And I'm very strong, very, very big forearms.
mm.
A black shirt tucked into my pants. Very, very big biceps.
Mm. Are you wearing anything on your head or no?
No, I have really short hair, almost totally buzzed, very short.
Where are
Um,
you going?
I get the sense of quite a bit of tattoos.
Mm. Tattoos all over you?
On my arm specifically.
Can you take a look at one of the tattoos?
It's weird because I'm getting a feeling of like a scorpion being one of the tattoos as well. It's like a scorpion with the pyramid and the eye that's on the dollar bill.
Mm-hmm.
It's like somehow that's all in the same tattoo.
Where are you going?
It's like I'm walking down this hall to where I think it's like a cluster of cells would be, maybe.
Okay, you can condense time to where you get to that cluster of cells.
Um,
Are you there?
Yeah. Hmm.
Are there
It,
people there?
this is like, it's really, yeah.
Men and women or no?
No, there's a man here and he feels like me, very built, very strong, has a very military kind of vibe, but I'm feeling like mercenary over military.
Describe that to me.
It just feels like we're some unit that's not a part of what you would typically think of like it feels like we're in the United States, I should say that as well. Like um somewhere in Arizona, New Mexico, Texas,
Oh,
somewhere in that region, close to the Mexican border, I'm going to say.
okay.
And it feels like it's sort of like a black ops type of situation here.
Mm.
Like, not many people know about this. Um,
Are there people held captive there or no?
yeah,
Lots of people or just a few?
it's just a few, and it feels like it's like high profile people. Like people,
Do you see any of them? Any of the captives?
yeah, I feel one in very strongly, and it's very strange that this is the person I'm feeling so strongly, but I can't really deny that this is the presence. It's Bill Gates.
Do you see him?
Yeah, it's less of a visual confirmation of him and more just a very strong feeling of him being in the cell. And
Why is
he
he there?
he feels like he's a bit accepting of the fact that he's down here. Like he's not um he doesn't seem to be upset or like freaking out wondering why he's down here. It's almost a sense of like he kind of knew. And as I'm saying all of this, I'm getting this more of a feeling that it's less of a jail cell and more of a like experimental. um
So is it
I
possible?
just had like a very strong feeling of a syringe and pulling something from him, like DNA, to be studied. Like there's some sort of research happening here, and it's not a what you would think of as a typical prison. There's something else happening down here.
Is it accurate that it's possible that you're more keeping people out than keeping people in this space? Or no?
Yeah, it could be. It feels like there's some like testing, some like very advanced testing, and I don't get the sense that it's like something Bill Gates wanted to do. Do you know what I mean? I don't get the sense that he's like asked to be put in this cell and have this done, but I'm also not getting a sense of him fighting it very strongly. It's almost as though he's just resigned to his fate in this position.
Okay.
And now I have the feeling of a very powerful woman walking in and like talking to these guards, like me and the other one, about like looking for updates or something on what's been happening.
Can you describe to me what she looks like?
Yeah, she's like I don't, maybe like late 50s. She has a very like well-fitted suit on. You know, it looks expensive and well-tailored.
What color is it?
Black.
What
She's
color eyes does she have?
like hazel, greenish brown. Dark hair.
Short,
It's like a bob situation.
Mm-hmm. Are there any updates?
I'm seeing all of these like syringe, like after I saw that syringe, and now there's like these tubes in a long tray that I'm seeing.
What is being tested?
It's like it's the feeling of cloning, but it's not.
Is it only Bill Gates that's being tested, or are there others?
No, and there's others here too.
Who else is there?
I'm not getting any like specific names.
Can you see any of them?
Yeah. It feels like there's a level of wealth and power to the people that are in this space.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't just your, average Joe down here. These are extremely powerful people.
Mm-hmm. Do they have to stay down there, or are they voluntarily staying down there?
Yeah, it's like both. I don't know how that can be, but it feels like both.
Like, are you saying
Like they are not allowed to leave,
Mm-hmm.
but they're like they also feel like they're okay with it. Again, this feeling of being like resigned to your fate, knowing that, well, this is just where I'm at, so I'm not going to fight it.
Is it because their lives would be threatened if they tried to fight it anyway?
I'm certain, yes.
Okay. Can you take around the room where they're being tested? Are they all tested in the same room, or do they have different places?
No, they each have their own like cell type thing where they're tested privately.
Okay. Can you go into the cell where Bill Gates is?
Mm-hmm.
And can you take, would you describe it as small?
Yeah, it's small, and there's like a lot, it's interesting because it feels like a mix of like what you would think a prison cell would be like, but there's a lot of medical equipment, it feels like, in here as well. Like I get the sense of like beeping monitors, and um he's got something on his finger.
What is he wearing?
um it's like a light blue, almost looks like pajamas, bottoms and top, kind of like a light cotton.
Mm-hmm. And he has like some sort of monitor on his finger?
Yeah, and it's all, I get the feeling that he's like kind of drugged, and maybe that's why he's not fighting this, because it's just like he's in this sort of um drugged state, I suppose.
Is he sitting on something?
Yeah, it's a bed.
Are there other people in there with you right now?
No, but I can see that woman outside. She's watching.
Can you go up to her?
Yeah.
Can you ask her what he's being tested for?
Yeah, I just said to her, "What are we doing here?" And she said, "Mass hypnosis."
Ask her what that means.
No, I just got like the image of a petri dish. Um,
What's in the petri dish?
Gosh, it just looks like some cells.
Ask her what it is.
It's like I have the feeling of, okay, like this thing going through the bloodstream and like traveling through the veins. It, okay, there's this feeling of like, um, whatever this is that's injected into the bloodstream somehow has the ability to adapt to the individual's beliefs almost. And based on that, accelerate the trajectory of wherever that person is going. So if somebody's, I just felt it like going in the bloodstream, and then I felt this sense of whatever this is could possibly be highly beneficial for humanity, right? And then with that belief coming in, it accelerated, and it was like rushing to every cell and sort of waking up that belief. And then at the same time, if it, at the same time, it was the opposite. So it's interesting because what's coming to me right now is that like same feeling in that other session that we did when my grandfather discovered that equation that could either save or end humanity.
Yep.
This is that exact same feeling as like this thing goes into your bloodstream and it accelerates and activates whichever belief already exists in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it feels like that's part of why there's all these very powerful people down here, because it's like determining what path are you on. Are you here right now to help or to destroy? And that's this testing is like, because it's revealing the intentions of some very powerful people.
Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to end here, which was not my intention. I wanted to get through. There's obviously more to uncover here. And we can certainly enter back into this space whenever we want to. And we will continue this. So this is definitely not what I expected to show up today, but I'm super excited. And yeah, we had a time limit today of less than 45 minutes, and that time is up, believe it or not. It's like a time warp when we do this together. But take a few breaths into your entire body and bring bright white light healing energy into every single cell of your body. Mm-hmm. Yeah. A few more breaths. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like I need to shake that one out.
I do want to say, like, I don't want to get people distracted, but I was like, this is an extension of those 3 dreams that I had 3 nights in a row. So such an extension of that, the mRNA, DNA primer thing. So
yeah.
I do want to invite people to go listen to that. And also the one that you're talking about with the grandfather, that's not one that's been written yet, has it?
Yeah, that was number 13.
Oh, right. Okay, my brain is like not with it right
Mm-hmm.
now at the moment, but yes, number 13. So yeah, if people haven't listened to number 13 of Wandering Star, yes.
Yeah. It was that feeling of like whatever this is could either, it could go both ways. Yeah.
And that is where we are right now.
Yeah.
That is totally where we are in many different ways. Yeah. Well, thank you, Hillary. We'll this one. You know, I want to say the thing that, because when you asked to do this yesterday, and then I told you I had a really good idea that I wasn't going to share with you because I didn't want your mind to start going places. I figured we would start with your 47th gene key. And
oh yeah,
because you have it 2 times in your chart. And so the shadow of that is oppression. So I was like, well, there's a reason why you have that 3 times in your chart. It's in your life's work. And so I thought we'll start with finding the deepest, darkest oppression, and then using the transmutation to transform that was my idea, which you had no idea when we started this. So this is really good. And yeah, let's see.
Fascinating that it like showed up in my big toe.
I think that it is, but there's definitely some significance to that, and that sense of power. Like I was feeling the oppression in that while you were doing it. It was like really, and the oppression of, it's a pretty gross feeling. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that, like when you were describing stepping on the scorpion and just feeling that like sense of power, like going out of your way to do that,
Right.
all of that is so connected with Bill Gates and the stuff that's happening right now in many ways, and
Yeah.
but I really do have to go because I have to teach a yoga class. But I really wanted to continue, and I was like, shit, like how do we stop this right now and leave with this icky feeling? But yeah, we'll do some things, shake it off. I'm going to teach
Yeah.
yoga, that will help. And
Yeah. I'm going to go to the gym.
yeah, and we'll continue this. So yeah, thank
Yeah.
you for joining us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See
Okay,
ya.
bye.
Bye.
So we're back, Hillary.
Yeah. 24 hours later
Yeah.
from the last one that we just did.
Mhm.
And we both felt like we really needed to find out more. So here we are the next day. And
How
that
about
was,
a little recap?
yeah, that was interesting. Certainly I don't know what I was expecting. I wasn't really expecting anything, but that certainly would not have been on my list of things that I thought might come through.
Yes.
Which is that's always the case. But
So what do you think about it?
I mean, I'll tell you that for an hour or two after we finished yesterday, I had to keep kind of like, I felt a little just kind of icky, kind of like we haven't had that many sessions together. I don't even know if I think maybe once or twice I felt like that afterwards. But this was like I needed to really shake some stuff out. So that was a pretty strong feeling I had. And I don't know. We went back and forth about the symbolism of the scorpion. And you had pointed out some things to me about what the scorpion symbolizes that felt pretty accurate and spot on for what we experienced yesterday.
I think I should share that.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to just read it straight from what I shared with you so I don't mess it up.
Cool.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
The scorpions use a variety of methods to communicate, including chemoreception, which is detecting chemicals in their environment, which I've never heard that word in my life. Vibrations, sensing ground tremors, and chemical signals like pheromones. They can also communicate through body posture and movement, especially during mating rituals. The symbolism in astrology, the scorpion is the spirit animal of the Scorpio zodiac sign, symbolizing resilience, intensity, and transformative power. Scorpions are also seen as powerful protectors, representing the deep loyalty and protectiveness that scorpions extend to those that they love, Scorpios. In some cultures, scorpions are associated with death and rebirth, or with the cycle of torment and the consequence of negative actions. In Buddhist tradition, they are seen as creatures that inflict suffering on the damned, emphasizing the importance of compassion and the avoidance of harm. Some people believe that scorpions are good luck, while others see them as a sign to flush out the old and bring in the new.
Yeah. So,
So one of the things I find interesting about this, because everything's a projection and reflection always, right? Like in these
yeah.
states that we go into of ourselves. So if people have not listened to the first series of Wandering Star, you've talked about before how you have always been in the victim role in all of those.
Yeah.
And so this one, obviously, we shared yesterday that I thought because of you having the 47th gene key 3 times with the shadow of oppression, to go and find the oppression on the planet. And I feel this is the first time that yesterday, in regards to the Scorpion, you were, in a sense, the oppressor.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this is the first time that energetically this has shown up for you.
Mm-hmm.
Which is,
yeah, it was very much like this. The word mercenary is what I felt so strongly, is like some sort of like rogue military guy. And it was very interesting, the feeling that I had about the people being held in the, well, specifically Bill Gates was the one that I was feeling so much, was that there wasn't this, like, he wasn't fighting. He didn't seem angry and upset. It was definitely this sort of like, well, I'm resigned to this fate that I have of being down here. And so I'm curious to explore that more today when we go back into it, as to just the digging into that feeling more, because there's a lot that I'm curious about it. I've honestly tried not to go into it too much, because I don't want to influence what else will come through by trying to pick apart things, We haven't necessarily done this before, where we've taken an experience and divided it into like multiple, doing it the next day. We've had like bathroom breaks during my sessions where I'll get up to pee and then come back and we get right into it. And so we have absolutely no doubt that I'll be able to go directly into it.
Oh, for sure.
But I just honestly didn't go into it as much as I normally would yesterday, because I really didn't want to influence anything that comes through today by the logical mind or my expectations or anything like that. So,
I have zero doubt.
I have no doubt, obviously.
Yeah.
And I fully trust that whatever's coming through is coming through for a specific reason. And I think we do want to be clear with people, is that when we do this, like, we hold the highest intention for everyone always. There's never anything that we do where we're holding any, obviously, like, there's no nefarious intentions, but we don't have like opinions, good or bad, about a lot of this stuff too. We're purely coming from a place of curiosity.
100%. Yeah.
And just trying to figure out information, because we know that we're tapping into some pretty wild stuff. So that's truly, where we're coming from with this, is we're not trying to expose like the Illuminati or anything. Was not our intention. We're just purely gathering information, and this is what happened to come through. So let's find out more.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. Close your eyes. Big breaths into your belly. Filling your belly with bright, white, light, healing energy. Breathe into your brain. Filling your brain with bright, white, light, healing energy. And into your heart. Filling your heart with bright white light healing energy. And a few breaths connecting your brain, your heart, and your belly. And just breathe normally. I'm going to ask you to go directly back into that space that you were in, into that cave, and tell me which area, where you land.
The first thing that I saw was my black boots on the ground. And then I felt immediately a briefcase, a black briefcase.
Can you take a look inside the briefcase and tell me what's in there?
It's like gosh, this is so strange. It's like you would open it up and it's almost like a like control panel is the thing that's coming to me. Like it feels like there's switches, and it's interesting because it doesn't feel very high tech at all. And this is like, it's just really bizarre that this is what is coming through for me. But I'm really feeling for some reason like Inspector Gadget. And like, I feel like he had this briefcase that he opened and it was all this like weird control panel things.
Okay. How big
There's
is
like,
this thing?
it's just a normal size briefcase, but there's like, just like, it's so not high tech at all. It's very, like old school, feels like 80s, 90s, kind of the switch. And then just these buttons, and there's like, I feel like ADX03 at the bottom.
Okay. Those are like letters on the buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Can you press letter A?
Yeah, and that's all under, it's like all one thing.
Okay.
ADX03 is like on the bottom of this thing. Maybe that's like the model of whatever this is. So that's not a designation for each button.
Oh, okay. Do the buttons have any identification to them or no?
There's one button that is now it's like blinking. It's like a green light blinking. It's a round button.
Okay. Can you press that one?
Yeah. When I pressed it, I got the very strong sense of a helicopter arriving.
Okay. Who's in the helicopter?
And it's like, so all of this is underground, right?
Okay.
It's just the pilot landing. There's nobody else, but it's like it's almost like I pressed that button to call for the helicopter to land. And now I had the feeling of walking somebody out of the tunnels, and they have like a sort of a burlap sack thing over their head so they can't see.
Okay. Do you know who it is that you're walking? Is it a male or a female?
It's a male.
How do you feel as you're walking him out? Like you're helping him or no?
I mean, kind of like he's like kind of stumbling around. He can't see where he's going. And I'm just kind of like being a jerk about it, like just move, telling him to just like hurry it up. Like I'm not being helpful or compassionate. I feel as though there's a strong sense of I love to exert power.
Breathe that feeling into your entire body. Is there anywhere in your body that you feel that more than any other place or no?
Mostly in my chest, like upper chest area. I feel like this swelling, like the way that I carry myself is with an air of arrogance and domination.
Can you bring that feeling down into your big toe? Like so that that feeling it's in every part of you from your chest the whole way down into your toe? Like bring that feeling into your entire body? Can you describe to me what the pilot looks like?
Uh, he's got he's got like aviator glasses on, black aviator glasses.
Is he younger, middle-aged, or older?
He feels about my age as well, like probably mid-30s. He's got short dark hair. He's got like a black helmet around his head. He's also very muscular. And he's dressed in all black.
Where is
Clean shaven.
where is he taking this man to?
I'm going too.
You're going along?
Yeah, we both got in the helicopter and I kind of shoved the guy in the back seat and he feels like very wiry and not a big man. It's like he feels like some sort of techie, very, very smart, very wealthy, but just this kind of thin framed, not super short, but smaller man. When I think about him, I get the feeling of like Silicon Valley very strongly, one of these tech geniuses. That's the feeling I have about this man, but I don't really recognize him.
Does he still have the burlap bag over his head or no?
I just yanked it off of him to look at him.
Where are you taking him to?
I just got very strongly the feeling of a jungle.
Like a remote jungle?
Kind of, yeah. Like this, I just felt this like really, really big wraparound porch on this house that's not that big. It's not like this big and fancy place, but it's got this really large covered wraparound porch and big palms and lots of trees.
Is this a house?
Feels very warm and humid. The helicopter lands a bit further away. There's like a clearing sort of down a hill.
Is this building a house?
Yeah, it feels like a house.
Okay. Who lives at the house?
It I don't know that anyone really lives here. It feels more like a place that we use when we need to bring people places. You know, it's not really someone's house. It's more of like I don't know what you would call it.
Are you at the house now?
Yeah, I just felt like we were walking up. You have to walk up a lot of stairs. Kind of goes up this like steep hill situation, and there's a lot of stairs. It's like a wooden staircase.
And you
And
go inside?
yeah, and I was just kind of like pushing this guy roughly up the stairs and into the house. And when we get in there, there's like a few other of these people that are like me waiting. There's a girl, a woman.
Is she a woman like you?
Pardon me?
Is she like a person of authority like you are?
Yeah, she's not like that woman that I had seen yesterday who was like obviously much higher up. This woman here now is a bit more of a like military mercenary type. She's wearing dark camouflage pants as well and a black shirt, and she's got brown hair, but it's in a ponytail.
What color eyes does she have?
Brown, dark brown. She's pretty tan, but she's got like freckles on her nose. It feels like her it's pulled back really tight, like you could see. Like it looks painful, like it's pulled back so taut.
How many people are there?
I feel her, and then I feel another guy who's like messing around with some guns. I don't know what he's doing. He's like taking them apart, and maybe he's cleaning them, or
What kind of guns are they? Are they big guns or like?
there are all kinds of guns. I felt like a handgun size. Now I feel some sort of bigger, sort of like I don't know, machine gun type situation. It's a very large gun.
Describe the inside of this house to me.
It's all wooden. You know, it's quite cozy actually.
Is there furniture in there?
Yeah, it feels like mostly like wicker with cushions, and it's like a lot of jungle tones of greens. The walls are all wood. There's sort of like low, dim lighting. There's windows around. I feel where I felt those two was in sort of a big kitchen area. Like there's a big kind of horseshoe shaped counter with high stools around it. And the girl was sitting there with her legs up on another stool, and the guy's got his guns kind of spread out on this. It's like an island, kitchen island, but it's a big horseshoe. And it feels like there's only 2 bedrooms at the back of the.
Okay. Can you go to, are there cabinets in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Can you go over to the kitchen cabinets?
Yeah.
Can you open them? Open one of them?
There's coffee filters and a bag of coffee
That's it?
and some salt and pepper shakers.
Okay.
There's a can of like old soup.
Why did you bring this man here?
I took him into one of the back bedrooms. And he's asking, he's like, what are we doing here? Where are we? What's going on? And I had him like zip tied his hands together before when we were flying here. And I just cut them and kind of just shoved him into this bedroom. And then I came back out. So now it's me, and the pilot and the helicopter are gone. They left. So it's me and the girl and the man that were here when I got here. And then that guy is just in a bedroom in the back by himself.
So you didn't answer him when he asked you what you're doing?
No, I just ignored him.
Oh. Why did you bring him there?
And I feel like I'm coming over to find out from the man and the woman that were already here waiting. I just got something that came in very clearly that said, did you wipe his memory yet?
What did you answer them?
I said, not yet. That's coming or something.
What are you trying to wipe his memory of?
When you asked that, I just had an image of him as a young boy.
Like how young?
I'm going to say like 13,
What is he doing?
playing basketball, or he's just like dribbling it by himself.
What is he wearing?
I don't know, blue shorts, like, I don't know, gym shorts, basketball short type things.
Mm-hmm.
They have a white stripe down the side.
And he's by himself?
And like a Ren and Stimpy t-shirt.
Okay. And he's by himself?
Yeah, I just see him looking at me. He's kind of has like kind of big front teeth and curly-ish hair.
And he's looking at you?
Yeah.
And describe to me what you look like through his eyes.
I look like a bully.
Describe that to me more. What makes you look like a bully?
I look like the kind of guy that would just walk up to him and like slap the basketball out of his hand just because watching him feel weak makes me feel powerful. Clearly an absolutely like miserable
Are you the same age as him?
Yeah, maybe like maybe a year or two older in this. It feels like in this situation, maybe.
Why are you so miserable?
It's like interesting. As soon as I was feeling that, I had this a very big chip on my shoulder, this pretty hefty attitude, and I was feeling like that hand of oppression very strongly in my life.
Where did that chip come from?
The inability to, like, it's like I never measure up to the expectations put upon me at home. I feel as though there's a dad that's got a very strong, like, rigid military personality, almost like a drill sergeant situation.
Can you
I
go
see I see myself having to do like push-ups in the morning before I even leave the house.
describe your house to me?
It's like a ranch house. It's not that big. It's brick. I think I'm the only child. My mom feels very like mousy and quiet, like she shrinks herself all the time.
What does she look like?
She's got like kind of curly, short brown hair. I see her with a white apron on and like a plate of cookies, but she's very timid. Like everyone walks on eggshells because the man, the dad, my dad in this situation is extremely cruel.
What does he look like?
But he hides behind this military, like, you need to do it this way because this is the, if you, like, he's almost forced his child to go into the military because that's what he did, and he's got all these medals or whatever. But he's like, I have the like strong feeling of him like beating the boy when he was young, and
This boy is you.
yeah, right. Yeah,
Go
right. So it's that classic, like, this is my home life where I will never be good enough for my dad. I've been beaten. It's emotional, physical, mental abuse all across the board.
Go
And
into one of those moments where he was beating you.
yeah, I feel that right now. Like there's a like a belt that he's using.
Describe to me what that feels like.
Mm. It's so gross, but there's a weird part of it. Like at first I was like, "Oh, you would think like I would hate it and it would make me feel small," but there's this weird sense of empowerment that I was tapping into with it, which is very bizarre. It's like
Is it
this knowing that like because this is what I'm getting, this is like I will continue this pattern. Right. Like knowing that at someday this will be me doing the exact same thing to somebody else. And so that makes me feel excited.
so? Can you, as your dad's beating you, can you go into your dad's, see yourself from your dad's perspective, just as you did the little boy playing basketball?
Yeah. And it's the same thing, right? It's the exact same thing.
Like,
I can follow it back to the same thing he felt when he was a kid. It's just the same pattern.
so can you feel it from your dad's perspective of enjoying beating that little boy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And having the same flashback of like when the dad was a kid and his dad did the same thing.
Okay, so now go back into the kitchen where you're discussing with these people to erase this man's memory.
Mm-hmm.
So you're erasing the memory of his childhood?
No. No, not of his childhood, of what came after his childhood or some I hmm no. Erasing I'm a little unclear. I'm just seeing the guy, not when he was 13 anymore, but like he's in college and he's on a computer and he's clearly excited because he's making some type of, I don't know, discovery. I can sense the excitement and he's like, oh my gosh, and he's typing code into a computer and he's all worked up. And I felt like that's where we're going into and wiping out the memory from basically that point to now.
Why? For what purpose?
Uh, Something about whatever it's almost getting the feeling though, like if it's not just wiping out his memory, it's almost like by wiping out his memory, it also goes back to that point in time and deletes everything that he created because of. So it's like, it's not just like, oh, we're going to erase this guy's memory and then he's just going to never remember this thing. It's more like somehow if we erase his memory, it also erases, it like deletes him from history.
What is it that needs to be erased?
And like feeling that syringe again and that same sort of whatever that serum or concoction was that they were injecting. That's the feeling I have again.
What is the purpose of that serum?
Now I'm feeling the serum as like a code going into your body. Like something about it is rewriting your code. It's the same feeling as yesterday too. Is like it can create or destroy. It can save or completely abolish.
Go to the thread where it creates. And what does this person, this boy, this man have to do with the serum?
This man is the one that like created the basis for it. So you said go to the thread where it creates, and the thing that came through immediately was superhuman.
Okay.
limitless, superhuman.
What does that feel like?
It feels like my veins right now are electrified,
Breathe that feeling into it.
and that code is really waking up and amplifying this feeling of superhuman and limitless. And
Breathe that feeling into your entire body.
I feel it interestingly enough a lot in my like hair follicles on my head.
Does the man that's erasing the memory, does he understand this feeling?
His is a distorted version of it, because this feeling that I have is not like, I have this feeling of being powerful, but I want to exert power over another. I don't have that feeling. I just have this feeling of like powerful creator, empowered, but not in a way in which I choose to exert power over another. The man that I have felt throughout this whole thing, this mercenary, he's the shadow of that, expressing power in a very dominating way, where power over is what fuels him. That's what gets him off.
Can you go back into that? Do you go and erase the boy's memory or the other man's memory? Do you follow through with that?
I don't know. I'm still, there's something I'm not ready to do that yet.
Why not?
I don't know. I feel like I'm just standing here with a glass of, it feels like a smoothie in my hand and a syringe.
Take a sip of that drink. Describe to me what it tastes like.
Watermelon. Like watermelon and coconut, maybe.
Do you like the taste of it?
Yeah.
Bring that taste into every single cell of your body.
So I just felt myself taking that syringe, like I could feel myself standing here in a moment of pause or contemplation. Like, am I going to go through with this and do this to this guy? And then as I was staring at the smoothie, I had the feeling of just jamming that syringe into my own neck.
What does that feel like?
It burns a lot.
Where does it burn?
All in my neck and my head.
Breathe that feeling into your neck and your head. Allow yourself to truly feel that feeling. And bring that feeling the whole way down into your big toe. What happens next?
Everything is like white.
Like you only see white, or that everything has bright?
Yeah, it's like everything just felt like this flash of light so bright it's blinding. And there's all these little numbers and letters, like a computer code flashing in front of me now. Like, it's like the feeling of being reprogrammed.
Describe that feeling.
But like, as this man, just like the inability to speak or do anything, it's almost paralysis. And eyes are just like frozen wide open. And I feel the other two that were in the kitchen, like, what the fuck did you do that for? Is what they're doing. You know, that's their reaction.
What did you do that for?
Seems as though it felt like if I could erase the memory of everything that my dad did to me, then maybe I wouldn't have to feel like I needed to continue to do that.
Describe that more.
Like, there's a moment of staring at this smoothie in my hand and the syringe in another. And then thinking about that guy in that back bedroom, and he's just this kind of like, for lack of a better word, really like nerdy, small man, right? Definitely the kind of guy that for my entire life I would have absolutely loved to exert dominance over, because it's so easy, simply because of our size. But thinking about doing that didn't bring the same thrill of excitement. It's like that's getting old, you know? There was a thrill for a long time. I felt that like in feeling into being younger and bullying, like that gave me a thrill of excitement. And now I just don't get that anymore. So it's like, what's the point? So it felt like I'll just erase all of these memories. And maybe that's the only way that I can become someone new, and I don't have to keep doing this. It's not working anymore.
I'm going to ask you to stay with that bright light and the coding.
Yeah.
And I want, because we have to come out of this, so I want you to breathe that memory into you for when we continue the next time. Really allow yourself to feel and absorb the bright white light and all of that coding. From the top of your head the whole way down to the bottom of your feet. Take just a couple big breaths into your heart. Hi, Hillary. You can open your eyes. We'll come back to this spot the next time. Oh, I hate to do this, but I have an appointment very soon. So we're going to have to cut this one off right here. And we will let that absorb for both of us and then continue again tomorrow, hopefully.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Hi, Hillary.
Hello again.
Okay, so day 3.
Day 3, yeah.
Day 3. I think this is the first time that we've actually done this type of like a continuation, right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm. And I would like to just share with people that we haven't talked about this. We've intentionally not wanted to have conversation about it because we didn't want to have too much of of a
Hmm.
of an impact on how
Yeah.
things unfold.
Aside from like scorpion symbolism, truly, that was the extent of it. And I honestly haven't even really thought about it. Truly. I don't want to influence anything with expectations or ideas about what could be coming next or what this or that could mean. And so I have like intentionally just put it out of my mind. And because I'm so curious about this. We've never done this before, so this is exciting to kind of do this in parts, and also interesting because typically when we're done with a session, one of the first things we do is discuss it immediately, obviously, and then I'll go into a deep contemplation and reflect on it. And so to not do that is interesting and honestly not as much of a challenge as I would have thought.
Which is a good indication that's exactly how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, truly. It's not like I'm like, oh, I just can't wait to dissect this. It's like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not there. I'm not ready to. That's not what I'm to be doing right now, and that's fine. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah,
ready
I
to.
think it's amazing because it is a new experience.
Oh
in,
yeah,
in that
yeah,
way. It's like we always are super excited to talk about these things. And so,
yeah. Especially because this one is vastly different from every other one that we've done.
yeah.
To be in the role that I'm in, and this one is quite a different experience. So I do look forward to when we can dissect it together, but that time has not come yet. So,
All righty. Well, here we go.
yep,
You ready?
I am ready.
Okay. Big breaths into your belly, filling your belly with bright white light healing energy. Breathe into your heart, filling your heart with bright white light healing energy. Into your brain, filling your brain with bright white light healing energy. And a few breaths connecting the brain, the heart, and the belly. Just a couple breaths into every single cell of your body, filling every single cell of your body with bright white light healing energy. Now just breathe normally. I'm going to ask you to go to the porch of that house in the middle of the jungle. And let me know once you've arrived there.
I'm there.
Tell me how your body feels.
It's this interesting combination of feeling really stiff, but also very loose.
Explain that.
It's like this feeling of this extreme rigidity and trying to hold on to that. This because there's a sense of control and remaining this like like every muscle is clenched, every sense is on high alert, like this feeling of always being like that, and then knowing that I have to let go of that control, but trying to hold on so tightly. Like it's the feeling that my legs are about to give out beneath me, and I know that.
Are you
I
standing?
know I'm standing
Okay.
and looking out. It's like a canopy of jungle treetops. There's a snake hanging from a tree, and I'm staring out, and I'm trying to maintain this posture, trying to keep every muscle clenched, like I'm poised for the fight. And I know that any second now my legs are about to give out beneath me, and I'm going to have to just let go of this control. And I'm trying desperately to hold on to it.
Okay. How close are you to the tree with the snake?
It's like I feel as though I'm standing in the center of this porch. Directly in front of me are the steps that go down. And then it's probably about like 10 to 12 feet to my left. There's a tree that's branches come pretty close to the porch, and I can see a snake kind of coiled around this branch.
What color is the snake?
It's got like a pinkish red sort of streak to it. It's interesting, like the colors that came to me were blue and red. Like it's this bluish purpley colored snake, and it's got this streak of reddish pinkish that looks like it go on the belly side of it. It would have that, but I can only see a little bit from the angle that I'm looking at it.
Would you say it's a large snake? Small, medium, or large snake?
I'd say it's about medium. It's
Okay.
not, it's only like, this round. I don't know if you can see that. It's not a huge, thick snake.
Okay.
It's probably 3 to 4 feet long, maybe.
Okay. And when you say that you know that you're going to have to give up this control, do you actually know that that's necessary?
I just know it's coming.
Okay.
I know that there's actually no choice. But I'm trying to hold on to the control for as long as I possibly can.
What control are you trying to hold on to? What is it that you're trying to control?
The first, that's layers, and the first layer is just my physical body. Right? Like I get the sense that there's always a level of control to my body. There's not really a time where I could actually relax my muscles and feel a sense of ease. It's like everything is clenched. Shoulders are always back and down. It's this physical sense of maintaining this control. So that's like this first layer of like, I won't let my body relax. I must maintain this posture.
Okay.
That feels very much like a fight or flight situation. Like I have to always be prepared for a battle. And then relaxing would mean that I'm not ready. And then the layer beneath that is like, I'm getting this feeling of like letting the mind go. It's like if you're entering an altered state of consciousness, whether it's with or without the use of plant medicine. But I'm really feeling specifically like if you're doing some kind of like psilocybin, for example, and you know the way your brain normally operates is about to shift and you're about to enter this different state of consciousness, it's almost like that. Like I know this controlled perception that I have on my life and this world that I'm living in is about to slip through my fingers. And again, I almost feel like grasping onto this thing that's just like drifting away, and I know that I can't hold on to it, but I'm just trying desperately to. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Are there more layers?
And when you asked me that, I felt something in my gut.
Breathe into your gut.
Like this. It was this total feeling of powerlessness. Almost like there's this huge death that's right here. And I know that it's here. And I cannot do anything to stop it. And I do not have any trust whatsoever in this process.
Would if you did have a choice to stop it, would you stop it?
Absolutely.
Ah, interesting. Why would you choose to stop it?
Because the thought of letting go of control is probably the most terrifying thing. This, powerlessness, lack of control. Like it feels like the thought of surrendering to something totally unknown is truly terrifying. But probably the thing that is the most needed. But there's not a recognition of that in this man's experience that I'm feeling.
I'm going to ask you to bring that snake into your belly.
I just get the feeling that the snake is in there just slithering around, eating up all of this bad bacteria.
What does that feel like?
It's like a mix of it feels really good and it also feels like very like there's kind of this pressure in my belly.
Allow the purple and reddish colors to come into your belly. And then when the snake is finished doing its job, where does it come out of your belly?
It's interesting. So when you talked about the colors, the snake just split in two. And then it was like there was one purple snake and one red snake. And they were kind of doing this weaving dance situation.
Okay.
And then the purple one went up and the red one went down.
Okay.
And it was like as they were both going, they were just each of them in both direction was just like clearing out all this gunk.
And how does that feel?
That felt actually really good. Like actually just mostly cleansing and not discomfort.
Okay. Do you feel like you would prefer to go inside the house or out into the jungle?
I do not want to go in that house.
Why not?
It just feels gross. Like I know there's that man locked in the bedroom. I don't.
Do you
I don't
still
know.
feel responsible for doing something with that man?
Yeah. But it's like, I don't know, whatever I injected into my neck is doing something really crazy to me.
What is it that you injected into your neck?
It was supposed to erase that man's memory. And then I wanted it to erase my memory so that I didn't have to remember all of the terrible shit that I've done or that my dad did to me, so I wouldn't have to continue that pattern. And now it's having this effect, like physically, where I just feel like I'm about to fall over.
Do you fall over?
I feel like I'm about to just lose all control of my mind. I feel it slipping, and it's that like that white light is coming in again, and these flashes of these numbers, like this code. It's like it feels like if you're wiping a computer of its hard drive,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're going to reprogram it. That's the feeling that I have.
Allow that to happen.
And I just like threw up that snake, the purple snake.
It came out your mouth.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, now I'm down on the ground. I'm off that porch. And I'm kind of like crawling through these trees. I can't walk anymore. My body just kind of gave out and I fell over. And that snake, the purple one, came out and it was like really covered in slimy grossness.
Where is it now?
But it just like slithered away like no big deal.
Are you still crawling?
Yeah. And I like looking down at my hands.
What do your hands look like?
They're really big. Like when I hold them like this, I can see veins bulging in my forearms. I can feel this like new, it's like I can see these lines of code going through my veins.
Where does the code come from?
It's that serum.
Who made the serum?
I see a man in a lab coat.
Is he younger, middle-aged, or older?
He's a little older. I'd say he's like, well, I don't know, maybe in his 60s.
What does he look like?
He's dark hair that's kind of parted and kind of swept back. He has like big black glasses, pretty thick frames.
Is he in a lab?
Yeah.
Is he by himself, or are there other people with him?
No, he's alone. It's like, I might have to sneeze. Hang on. Sorry, okay, fast. It's interesting. I have this like, he's a mix of the mad scientist from Insatiable Madness and the grandfather from The Fountain. It's like this mix of this. The feeling I get is like this man that will stop at nothing to create this thing that he has, this masterpiece, this vision, this insatiable desire to fulfill this thing that he knows, this creation. So I see him like in his lab working tirelessly around the clock, kind of going a little bit mad because of it, not communicating with anybody. And then I see at the same time a very precise mathematical it's like it's coming from this true place of this pure place of love. And I keep feeling that like it's the same feeling I'm getting of like it could either destroy or create, right?
Where does this serum? What is this serum derived from?
And I like when I think about that and I feel into that, it's literally like I just feel him filling up the syringe with water from the table that had the equation on it. And so I'm like, is it just water?
Ah.
Is it just like this like placebo effect situation? I don't it's literally, and he's got this kind of like smug smirk on his face, and I can see him almost like filling up these vials and putting them into this thing where you can put all these like test tube things in, and then he puts it in this black container and it's locked and it's sealed up, and it's as if he's got some sort of really high tech, high level potion serum, right? And he's giving it to these like military dudes as if he's passing along something that's like highly toxic, right? Like a biochemical situation. That's what it feels like, the way that people are handling this. And it's literally just water from his table.
So it's water that's infused with the information.
Yes. Yes. It's not just like tap water, but it's water from his table that has the equation.
Okay. So feel that water moving through your veins. Are you laying there on the ground still?
Yes. Yeah.
So
Like on my belly, sort of like almost trying to prop myself up with my forearms, but even not being able to do that. Like even just like my head just falling to the earth.
okay. So just surrender into the earth. Allow yourself to lay there and feel the earth. Is it a dirt surface below you? Or is there vegetation of some sort?
There's like some low plants, but I can feel the soil. I can smell the soil.
Okay. So
I can feel like little bugs crawling around.
okay. So combined with the water, the infused water moving through your veins, allow all of that smell of the soil, the bugs, all of the things combined. Bring it all together. Allow yourself to surrender into that. And with all of that information within you now running through your veins, I want you to allow your body to literally sink down into the surface of the earth.
Yeah, I was already feeling like that was happening.
What does that feel like?
It feels really safe. It feels like being in a womb, like held in this soft space where you know nothing bad can happen.
Breathe that feeling into your entire body. And allow yourself to go into the center of the earth.
It's like as I feel this happening, it's like this new code is like coursing through my veins, and then at the same time the earth is like almost extracting the bad code. I don't even know if it's bad, like the code that was there before that was creating this pattern of controlling and dominating over other, like that. I feel that being like it's coming out of my feet.
It's coming out of your feet.
It's like I feel it coming out of the bottom of my feet. First I felt it in my big toe only, and then it felt like it spread to all of my feet, and it's like yeah, it's just like the earth is just pulling it out nice and gently, just like, okay, you don't need this anymore.
And then where does it go?
And the earth it's like it just feels like compost, right? Like the earth just transmutes it and transforms it into something that will now create new life. it like almost can feel this like mycelium network just like sucking it in and just like processing it, transmuting it. And then I see it just kind of like going out through across the soil. And then I see these little like sprouts coming out on the surface of the earth.
So is it fair to say that, so that information is the control, right? Mostly
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
DNA control. Is it fair to say that that is necessary for these new things that are growing? Like they have to feel that in order to survive?
Yeah. It's like, it's just like it processed it in this way, processed it. And I just had this the line, one man's garbage is another man's gold, which is like not something I've ever said in my life. But I don't even know if that's a saying, but that
It
just
for
came.
sure is.
It's like
Mhm.
that feeling that being
That's a
sucked
lyric
out of
from a
this.
Grateful Dead song, actually.
What is it?
That's a lyric from a Grateful Dead
Is
song.
it really
One
interesting?
man's
I would
trash.
never, I don't know that, but yeah, that's
It's very
was like
similar.
taking this waste from this man. Like what is creating all of this disharmony for this man is providing new life for something else.
Mhm.
It really feels like the full spectrum of the 47th gene keys happening here right now.
100%. That's absolutely
Transfiguration.
100%. That's exactly what it is,
Mm-hmm.
which is where we started and what started this whole process.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once something doesn't serve whatever life form it's inhabiting anymore, it becomes useless. It's kind of similar to, it makes me think of like how we're taught to believe that most of our DNA is trash DNA,
Junk
junk.
DNA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's only because we aren't making use of it. We don't, we aren't utilizing it. But when
Right.
something becomes useful to us, it is useful until it no longer is. And then it just becomes useless.
Yeah.
We just pass it on. And as long as we're willing to pass it on and let go of it, then it will serve a higher purpose somewhere else. Like it is like that's so interesting. Like one man's trash is another man's treasure type of thing, right? Or one man's garbage is another man's gold. It's so interesting. Um, and so I want to see what happens if you decide to go into the house.
I feel myself like coming out of this soil cocoon that I've been nestled in.
Okay.
And it's like at first everything is really hazy. Like I'm not quite sure how I got here. I don't have my boots on anymore. I'm barefoot. My shirt's not tucked in. My pants are kind of rolled up a little bit. My hair is just kind of like, there's like bits of dirt and sort of the opposite of that. Absolutely, every hair in place and shirt tucked in and all of that. It's the opposite of that. And there's this sort of soft glow to everything now. The haziness is lifting. And it's like a soft golden glow to everything. And the feeling of still being very strong and powerful, but not in a way that feels like it's so controlled and rigid. It's just this more like fluid strength.
Are you walking toward the house right now?
Yeah, I'm walking up all the stairs to get to the porch.
Okay.
Now, when I get to the top of the porch, now there's a hammock. And the other guy that was messing around with his guns is lying in the hammock. And he just seems like super casual. I thought he was going to be like, where were you? You know, like looking at me, like, what happened to you? Why are you covered in mud? And where were you? But he's just like, what's up, man? He has a lollipop in his mouth, like a Tootsie Pop.
What color's the lollipop?
Purple. Yeah, and like the girl inside is, she's just like hanging out. She's cutting up an avocado. She's like, oh, hey, are you hungry? And she's wearing a bikini top with like a mesh cover up over it. Now it just feels like we're just like hanging out in like Costa Rica having a good time.
Are you hungry?
I am pretty hungry. And it's like that dude's not even here anymore. I like run to the bedroom and there's no one in there. And she's like, what are you looking for?
What do you answer her?
I'm like, don't even say, I'm just like, I don't know. And I'm like, did I dream all of that? Was that real? And then I hear that line, it was all a dream coming in. Huh. And I'm like kind of confused about it. Like there's no guns anywhere. I just feel like I'm in a completely different life now. Like none of that stuff even happened in this life.
Well, isn't that what happened when you went down into the earth?
Yeah, and I'm still trying to make sense of it, but it's like I'm just
Isn't it kind of similar that this house could be a physical representation of what happened to your physical body, where when all of that negative control and fear and all of that stuff was extracted from you? It,
everything externally shifted.
yeah. Isn't that
Yeah. I mean, absolutely that's what happened. It just felt like a
like you were all tense and like all the control and all the stuff in your physical body, and then you come out after that's left you and you're just chill, you're barefoot, you're dirty, you don't even care and then you go into the house and you're kind of watching that same thing manifest in this place that you were in that was all tense and controlled.
mm-hmm.
And now because all of that has left, it literally shifted the physical world around you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a totally different.
So it's an example of how this serum can either create or destroy, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. because it's all just information. And we can use it to however we want because it
Yeah.
have any, there's nothing holding it. Information isn't confined by any sort of boundaries. It's energy and it's
Yeah. I just like
it is like
felt a surfboard leaning up against the porch and was like, all right, let's go surfing.
do that. Go grab the surfboard.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just like trotting down to the beach. Hmm.
Okay, so can you take the surfboard and go out into the ocean and just lay down on the surfboard on your back? Like go beyond where the waves are, like the calm part of the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Are you there?
Yeah.
Is it sunny?
Yeah. It's sunny, but what I really feel strongly right now is the grid.
Describe that.
Well, it's like all these different pathways. It's interesting. It's like I can't. There's a very strong curiosity of like, what does it look like if it destroys?
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? So the serum, the way this worked is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that. And I love that. And I'm absolutely grateful that I'm like in this experience. But there's this very strong curiosity of like, well, how does it destroy? Like, how did that not happen to me if I was so in this world of control and manipulation and inflicting harm on other for my own sense of power? How did I get, like, what decides, I guess?
Okay, so let's go see. Do you want to go see?
I really do, because I can't let go of that.
Okay, so go back to before you injected the serum into your neck,
Yeah.
right? And they're waiting for you to go back and inject it into the man, right?
Yeah.
So go back into that room where the man is.
Yeah.
Is he in a bedroom, did you say?
He's in the bedroom in the back of the house. Yeah.
And describe that environment.
It's just this like bed. It's a queen size bed. There's not much in the room. There's like a couple small tables on either side of the bed with lamps.
Is he lying down in the bed or sitting?
No, he's sitting on the corner. He looks really anxious and obviously concerned about what's going on.
Okay. So does he ask you what's going on?
Yeah, he's like, what am I doing here? What are we doing here?
What do you tell him?
I just tell him to shut up.
Do you have the syringe with you?
Yeah.
Okay. Go to where you put it in. You do put it in his neck?
No, I put it in his thigh.
Does
I
he
just
bite you when you're doing
walked over to him and did it really fast before he knew what I was going to do. Like I kind of had it hidden in my hand so he couldn't see.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like 1, 2 steps and boom in his thigh. And then he looks at me He's got these like round glasses on. And his eyes kind of open wide, like he's in shock.
How do you feel when this is happening?
I don't really feel anything.
Breathe that feeling of not feeling anything into your entire body. Is there anywhere in your body where you feel it or don't feel it more than any other place?
Just kind of a feeling of total numbness, apathy.
And then what happens?
He goes like this on his neck, like he's like he's choking or something. And then he kind of slides off the bed and lands on the ground, and he's like kind of curled in a fetal position. And he can't really talk. He's just kind of gasping and gagging. And I still don't feel anything. I think I need to go into his body to understand what's happening.
Go ahead. What's happening?
I certainly don't know what this feels like, but I feel like this is the feeling like if you were being electrocuted. Like it's such an intense electric jolt that you just can't do anything or feel anything because it's so powerful. It's just like you're kind of like frozen in this shock, literally and figuratively. And I feel it like really strongly.
Are you aware of what's happening from in there?
I mean, I'm certainly aware that something not great is happening, but I'm not sure what exactly this is doing to me.
Do you feel like you're dying or no?
No. It honestly just felt like if you were to, I again have no idea what this would feel like, but like if you were getting a lobotomy.
Does it come to an end or do you stay like that forever?
Yeah, it kind of stopped. Like it really eased up. And now it's just this sort of like white, fluffy static. And there's just kind of this like high pitched buzzing. And it's like not, I don't have the ability to make sense of any thoughts. It's just like,
Is it only in your right ear?
it's like louder in my right ear than my left, but it's both. It's everywhere. It's just like really obnoxious, high pitched buzzing noise.
Can you bring that high pitched buzzing noise the whole way down into your toe?
Yeah, I honestly feel it in my toe quite a bit.
Are you able to bring it into your belly?
Yeah. It's like it really is like I like the feeling of just a lobotomy. All and everything. Like there's just nothing. There's no pain and suffering, but there's no joy and there's no memory of anything. It's just like a complete whiteout and absolute numbness.
So is it more numbness or like void of feeling?
It's a void. I mean, it's void of feeling. It's like there's nothing.
Okay. But you,
And no memory of there ever being anything.
okay. So if you were like, if you were to like pinch your skin, you can feel your skin? Or no?
It's like there's not even, I mean, I can do that because I can make myself do that. But like in that, it's like you wouldn't even think to do anything like that because there's no cognition of like, it's the feel like you don't even know that you're a human anymore. You're just, there's nothing there.
Okay. But you're still alive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not dead.
Okay, so you're still alive.
Yeah.
What do you do next?
So I've come out of that body and now I'm back in um the one that I was originally in.
Okay.
And I just leave him on the floor. Like I know that whatever was meant to happen with the serum did its job. And so I just walk out and come back into the kitchen area. And I'm just like, it's done.
How did the others respond?
Like, that's what they expected.
And how long does the guy stay laying there on the floor?
Well, he can't move.
So
He's got like, I think it's almost like there's like absolute, like almost total paralysis. I don't know how long that lasts, but he can't move.
okay. So does this end up killing him or no?
I don't think so. Like I see him like just, it's just kind of like now he's a vegetable.
Okay. So how does he stay alive then?
It was like I just saw a flash of him in almost kind of like a nursing home type setting, you know?
Why wouldn't you just kill him instead?
I don't know. I don't know.
Go to the nursing home where he is.
It's almost like it's not a nursing home. It's like a bunch of people that are like this are there. It's like this experiment, it feels like. And now that I'm feeling it further down the line, it's like now there's um, the ability to form thoughts. It's almost like, okay, now I have the ability to understand these things, and but I there's no ability to express or communicate. Like I can't even draw or write or speak. It's like
You mean from inside of him?
from inside of this man that's been injected, right?
Okay.
It's like he now has the capacity to form thoughts, and he's like pieced together the situation, but he can't communicate to anybody what happened. So it's like he's just stuck in this body that doesn't work at all, and he has no ability to communicate what he knows. Now it's been like, now it feels like you're just like absolutely trapped in this prison. And the line from one of the stories that I think it's a cage is a fate worse than death.
Mm.
That's what this feels like. This is a fate far worse than death. And it's definitely some sort of experimental situation.
So why are you having this understanding in this moment right now? What is this experiment and this what is this experiment helping you with right now?
Sorry, I've like shake off this feeling of this guy. Feels very much like this is um, a reflection of what we seem to be experiencing right now.
As a collective, you mean?
As a collective, it's like you can be living in absolutely the worst prison based on what you believe, or you can be floating on your back on a surfboard, metaphorically, or physically. But it feels like it's like, okay, so how does the guy, and I'm still not clear as to like who the guy was that was being held captive. This like, with the glasses, and he's,
Does
again,
it matter who he is?
it doesn't really matter, but it's like, I'm just feeling into like the differences between this one guy who's been a so-called bad person, right? Or done these bad things in his life. And then he has this absolutely beautiful experience with this that now shifted everything for him, and he's living in like his own paradise, right? And then this other guy, I'm not quite sure what he was up to, what
But
his
he seemed
intention.
fairly innocent, right?
Yeah, maybe. I don't really know. That's what I mean. It's like I don't really know what his like intention. I just know that he was like some smart, very wealthy man that was really into tech stuff. And then he has the exact same thing and then winds up in the absolute worst prison you can possibly be in, which is like, just trapped in yourself with no ability to express or communicate or, it's the victim freedom.
Isn't it? Yes, the victim freedom. Isn't it all based around the fact that the man who did all of the horrible things, he voluntarily did this to himself. And
Yeah.
the other guy had it forced upon him. And so he didn't voluntarily choose the thing. And so therefore that's the difference between the victim and the freedom. And so because the other guy who, even though he did all of these horrible things, he made this choice to inject himself with this unknown substance, and but it was because it was a choice and not forced,
Yeah.
that he had a totally opposite experience
Yeah.
because he didn't allow somebody else to force this upon.
Right. Yeah. As you're saying that, it's like something forced. It's literally like I just see like a sea of that man sitting there in his own prison. It's just like zombies, total zombies.
Mhm. Yeah, so I think metaphorically speaking, as far as what's happening right now collectively, it is I think that's a brilliant uh representation of what's happening on the planet at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so I mean, let's go back to the first one, like Bill Gates and syringes, we're just going to say it, is very much connected to what we experienced during COVID and people feeling like they had to do something against their will, or they'd lose their jobs, they'd lose their security, their safety, all of the things. I mean, it is kind of an example of an experience where when we do things because of somebody else telling us or threatening us with our freedom and our safety and security and all the things, um, it isn't really usually that does force us into our own prison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I guess it's fair to say that to have the understanding, because this guy eventually does get to the point where he understands all of this stuff, but he's not able to express that he understands it,
Right.
which is kind of how we were feeling after number one in this. Like the hesitancy to say a name, even like Bill Gates, is a very real thing in today's world, like an actual fear of saying a single human being's name could, like, literally, it's such a small thing, but it's actually incredible to witness how powerful one person's name can be in today's
Mm-hmm.
world.
Mm-hmm.
And even just saying a name and saying, like, we didn't, there's nothing even said about him being a good guy or a bad guy or anything like that in this first one that we did. There's no opinion about whether he's good or bad or whatever. Like, he's in that space, and it's like he knew he had to be there. There was nothing even said, but yet the power behind that name is incredible on the planet right now.
Mm-hmm.
So incredible that even doing this experiment, you and I were like wondering, because we're pretty convinced that we have to do this because we believe in this work so much. And we're excited for the first time ever to share this, how we work together with each other. And then that first thing comes in, and it's like, okay, how willing are you to express the truth of what's coming through?
Yeah, because this has never that's never happened before.
Yeah.
That and
So the very first moment we decide to do this video and show people how we work together, this thing comes in to challenge us. I feel like, okay, how, like the guy in the fucking nursing home that can't use his voice, and he has all this understanding, but he can't express it.
mm-hmm.
And it's exactly like this. I'm not gonna lie, I even had thoughts of like, I wonder if we will actually put this out there because of where this landed in the very first few minutes.
I mean, I of course I did. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah, because of
delicate.
because of a fear of like whatever, being judged, or um I don't know, people just making assumptions about certain things or whatever. But that man will be us, I'm convinced, if we don't.
Mm-hmm.
That will be us.
Mm. All right, I'm gonna
You
open my eyes.
you agree with me?
Wow. Well,
What do you think, Howie?
yeah, that was I just have this like mental image of that guy sitting there like a zombie. It's kind of terrifying, honestly. And then the other guy just like laid back, chilling on this surfboard, soaking in the sun, not a care in the world.
I wanted to do this little thing before you came out of it, but you can do it right now. You don't even have to close your eyes. I want you to because I feel like it has to be done. Okay.
Okay.
Go out onto into the ocean on the surfboard,
Yeah.
right? Chilling on the surfboard. Um go to the sun.
Yeah.
And, and from the sun's perspective, look down at yourself on the surfboard and all of your surroundings as far as you can possibly see.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see?
It's like sparkly blue water, shimmering. Uh, Coastline of like beautiful sand and some tropical trees. I see a couple boats on the water. See
Okay.
a few little dolphins playing.
So put you're on your back, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
So and your feet are in the water.
My legs, like knees down, are just like dangling off the sides of the surfboard in the water.
Okay. And how about your hands?
My hands are just kind of rested on my chest.
Okay. Put your hands also in the water. And now imagine all of the information that is in that water, just as the information was in the water in the table that went through your veins.
Yeah.
Imagine all the information that's in the ocean water, like coming through the people in the boats down into the water, all the fish, all the wildlife, all the everything, all the land from everywhere around, all of the water absorbing all of the information from everywhere. And then coming up through your veins, through your fingers and your toes. As the sun's shining on you. What comes to mind?
Just feels like the consciousness, like like I'm able to tap into or feel absolutely anything that I want to.
Mm. Perfect. Ah,
Okay. Well, I feel like maybe we can have another one where we just chat a little bit more about this.
okay.
If you
That's
want, I feel like I have to like move this out now.
okay.
Um,
Yeah, we can do that.
okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you for
God.
playing in the wonderful world of experimentation, I guess.
Yeah.
Imagination, experimentation, and uh, the only thing that really matters. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Okay.
See ya.
Till next time. Hi, Hillary.
What's up, Keish?
Wow. So what did you think of all that?
Well, this has been interesting. As we mentioned, going through all of the sessions, we've never done this for multiple reasons. Really, we have never spread a session out over multiple days, and then never recorded it with video and shared it publicly. So this was definitely interesting for me going through it, being that it was broken up over 3 days. And I feel like I made the decision after that first day to really not think about it. We didn't talk about it aside from, I think really all we talked about was that scorpion symbolism. And then
Yeah.
I decided, you know what, honestly don't even want to think about it because I didn't want to influence any of it with my logical brain trying to figure out, well, what's going on? Why did Bill Gates show up? That was really tempting to try to go into it. And so I just thought, I'm just going to not think about it. And then I listened to it after the third day, after we wrapped it up. I listened to the entire session then. Because I had forgotten a lot of what happened that first day too, just little details. And so it's so funny because the prompt you gave me was literally about my 47th gene key, which is the shadow of oppression, the gift of transmutation, the city of transfiguration as the highest potential. And you said, go to where the most oppression on the planet is. And then it was like literally my big toe brought me there. But throughout the
Can I just
session,
stop you for 1 second? I'm just curious. Did we share the symbolism of the Scorpio? I can't even remember if we shared that symbolism.
we did in the second day
Okay.
that we went back in, before we went back into the session, we briefly shared. You read what you had found about the scorpion.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
I know this is like over a week ago now that, so we're, might be a little rusty on what we're remembering, but, yeah, during the session, obviously I realized I was going to find depression, but then I didn't really piece together until I came out of it after the whole thing was done, how the entire thing was really a story about the 47 gene key. It's hilarious how when I am in the sessions in the moment, I'm just oblivious to so much because I'm so focused on what is happening here and now, and in being these characters, feeling the emotions that they're feeling. And then sometimes also trying to piece together pieces that don't quite add up to me. You know, I became a little fixated on the man who was injected in the thigh, you know, just like little things where it's almost like I need to know certain things, and I need to like realize that I need to loosen my grip on this idea that I have to have all of these details figured out and just zoom out and look at the bigger picture, which is what you are able to do as the facilitator.
Yeah, that is the beauty of working together, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that is what it is all about. And so, because that's true, it's like knowing that we came into it, or I came into it with the prompt of using the 47th gene key. In my mind, I'm witnessing the transmutation and transfiguration happening, and you're completely unaware of of what's happening. And so it's really, that's what's the most exciting to me, is that we have this, and I think it's important for people to understand that if you haven't listened to Wandering Star and how we've gotten to this point now, it is like, it seems so easy, like, oh, you just, and I think what has become super exciting for me is that I really believe that when you and I start this now, because
Mm-hmm.
it's like this natural thing that happens. I feel like our frequencies and whatever happens, like, just instantly connect. And so I think that because we just started doing this on video and filming, like, it is really important for people to understand it wasn't like this in the beginning.
No, well, we've been doing this, what, for some years?
Yeah.
And I don't even know how many sessions we've done at this point. So this has been
Yeah.
quite some time that we've been doing this, and many, 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 many sessions.
Right. And so, because of the trust that we've built, and because of whatever I believe is this greater source of consciousness that comes together as soon as we come together with an intention of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it's just this amazing proof that you didn't even know what we were going into it with.
Right.
And me knowing, because usually we both know to some degree, like we have, an idea.
Or we both don't know. Yeah.
Or we both don't know. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But this is the first time where I have the idea and you didn't want to know what it was until we started.
Right.
So I have this awareness of how this thing is unfolding, and it's mind blowing how perfect it is for the 47th gene key. And so also in saying that, I think that because for people who aren't aware of the gene keys, check out genekeys.com. But the programming partner of the 47th gene key is the 22nd gene key, and that is in your evolution sphere. So the 47th is in your life's work, and then it goes into the evolution, which is the 22nd gene key. And I have the 22nd gene key in my pearl, which is like my job or whatever, and you have it in your evolution. And this whole entire experience is the perfect example of how the 20-second gene key works together, especially in those two placements if you're doing a chart comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Because the shadow of that one is corruption, and then the gift is graciousness, and the city is grace. And
The shadow of that is dishonor.
Our dishonor.
Yeah.
And thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that looking at that shadow and this work that you and I are doing is so apparent in our personalities and building trust with one another,
Mm-hmm.
and getting to this point where it's like we are able to, in these moments, completely detach from any judgment, any weird like ego stuff, or if it does show up, it's just we know that it's part of the process.
It's
And
something to learn from. Yeah.
always, and moving through this, like allowing the graciousness to come through. And so in this one, I think that Bill Gates showing up is the perfect example of, it doesn't matter who's showing up in this moment. For me in this moment is like using the gift of graciousness, and then to experience grace, and allowing for the grace to come through, even in the villain part, with you being the so-called villain in this one,
Mm-hmm.
for the first time ever. But I don't want to get too sidetracked, which I'm doing, and I want you to continue with the big toe.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's another just a great point. Is this was my first experience being the so-called perpetrator and not the victim for once, right? So that was honestly a pretty cool like change up for me to not just be the one that's like, oh, they're after me. The world is out to get me, which is funny because given that you said to go find the most oppression, and the way that I've viewed that in my chart is through this crazy victim mentality that I've carried most of my life in a mostly really unconscious way. And then this time I was the one that was the quote unquote villain. So that was honestly pretty cool to swap roles like that for once. And so that, yeah, this is another just wild thing that happens when we do these sessions, right? And then usually in the aftermath, in the days and weeks, we start looking things up or discussing them more, or things just pop into our awareness that have to do with the session. And this happened to me. I think it was even maybe the day that we ended the session, or the day after, it doesn't matter, but it was in like 24-hour period after we completed the third part of the session. And I went to the gym and pulled up YouTube, and the thing that was like next in queue for me to listen to was this podcast, and the guest was Tom Campbell, and he is a brilliant like quantum physicist, and I wasn't familiar with him. And so I just, whatever, started listening to it because why not? And I was kind of like half listening, half just, kind of whatever, people watching at the gym. And I swore in the beginning that I heard him say something about my big toe. And I was like, no, why would he be talking about his big toe on this podcast? That's weird. I must have misheard. And then, I don't know, 20 minutes later into it, then they're talking about remote viewing, which is something that I've been listening to more of and contemplating more about. And so I kind of perked up and started listening more closely once they started talking about remote viewing. And sure enough, this guy talks about my big toe again. And at that point, I'm like, all right, what? So I go in and I'm looking at the show notes, or maybe I just looked up this guy's name. It takes me to his website, which is mybigtoe.com. Now, I've never had an experience in which my big toe came into anything, really. You know, sometimes I'll feel energy in my body when we're doing these sessions, but it's always like my head, my throat, my heart, my gut. You know, it's not ever been my big toe. And it was really strong. Like when you said to go find depression, there was just this throbbing, pulsing in my right big toe. And it was almost like that was leading me to this underground bunker thing that we wound up in.
I mean,
It
wasn't
was,
it like, didn't I don't remember, but I think I even said like, let your big toe guide you.
you did. Yes, you did. And so that it was
Random.
literally like my big toe was just like, we're going this way. And it was this really
It's so
crazy,
weird.
powerful feeling. And so, and I remember the one night when I was like trying not to think about the story itself, but I was definitely thinking about how bizarre that my big toe came into it, right? And in my head, I was thinking about, gosh, I wonder what, you know, because I always feel like there's parts of the body where we carry, you know, grief in the lungs, whatever, all of these things in our body that can be symbols of something going on psychospiritually, whatever. But my big toe was never really something I contemplated. Anyway, so of course I have to go to this guy's website. And it turns out, yeah, so his name is Tom Campbell. The website is mybigtoe.com. And toe stands for theory of everything. And so what he's done is he's expanded upon Einstein's theory of everything. And I kind of just want to read this.
Yeah.
Just because I'll talk more about it when I'm done reading it. But this is what, on his website, you can go and it says a like overview. Consciousness is the fundamental reality. The physical world is an illusion, a virtual reality that only exists in our minds. We are individuated units of consciousness, immortal, interconnected parts of a larger consciousness system. We chose to be players in the virtual reality game called Life on Earth, set in a virtual universe computed by the system to aid our consciousness evolution. In this game, we are the choice makers for our virtual bodies. We use our free will to make choices that express our quality of consciousness. Our quality is accurately reflected by the intent motivating each choice. Selfish, fear-based versus selfless, love-based. Our goal, our goal to learn from the outcome of our choices in order to grow up and evolve the quality of our consciousness from fear to love. By evolving our individual consciousness quality from one round of the game to the next, we advance the evolution of the entire consciousness system. So that's his brief overview. And the reason this was so wild to me too is because we've had this conversation and I've been thinking about this for quite some time about how I've been really having this feeling like this is a virtual reality that we're living in. And human evolution and our consciousness, I believe, is mirroring the evolution of AI that's happening right now. And I've said to you a number of times, like, I've never used one of those virtual reality headsets, right? Because I don't feel the need to, because of all this work we do. Like, what? I don't need to put one of those on when I can do this with you and I can do this on my own. And it's like we can create this is what our imagination is here for, to create all of these magical worlds and to go exploring far beyond the confines of what we think this physical world is. So I don't need one of those, you know, and nothing against people that like to use those, but it's like we have all of this ancient sacred technology within us, right? Like telepathy. I mean, there's a reason why the world is so mad about, not mad as in bad, but mad as in like excited. And so many people are into the telepathy tapes is because these technologies that have always been within us, but have been laying dormant, are all being activated. They're all coming online. And so I'm reading about this and I've been thinking about remote viewing so much because I believe we've been doing that, and that'll come in the next story a bit more. But, and so I was just blown away by, again, another synchronicity, and feeling excited that like I'm having this understanding. My understanding of reality is a little bit more magical than just this, like, his is a bit more scientific, which I appreciate. But I think it's the same thing. It's like we're at the point now, too, where science and spirituality are merging, and they've both been saying the same thing. And now it's just being shown. And so it's like we have choice, right? Like I could choose to just view this as this very sort of scientific, more clinical virtual reality game that we're living in. And we're all just these units of consciousness, which I believe is true. But my version of it has a bit more magic to it. Does that make sense?
It absolutely makes sense.
Yeah.
If you keep what you just said in the context of how this unfolded, this session that we just did, it's like, if you look at the intention behind it, like, the input that, we'll just say the input that my system was putting into it, which is this 47th gene key, you can see that this reality or this experience was created through, like, I guess you could say, just the same way as information is input into a computer and then chat GPT puts out this feeds back according to what's been put into it. And so I'm thinking of what you just said as I input this thought into this system with you and I, and then you're bringing back this information that is the perfect example of, so for example, the transmutation comes in when, or in a very obvious way, in my opinion, when you decide to inject yourself with the serum rather than the captive, the person being held captive.
Right.
And so you, instead of following the shadow of oppression, you decided to utilize the gift of transmutation and do that to yourself rather than this person. And you have this experience where, like, if you say, for example, if you look at the example of when you're standing on the porch and you are describing your environment and you see the snake in the tree, and then I ask you, put the snake in your belly, and then the snake splits into two. It's this violet pink colored snake, and those two colors split into two and move in this the up and down your spine in this spiraling pattern. And so in that moment, I'm like, wow, this is like the Kundalini energy. This is the example of DNA. It's like the spiraling of the energy, transmuting the energy. And then you go into the earth and come out, and this transfiguration is happening. And that becomes apparent when you go into the house and everything's beautiful and fine. And the girl's cutting avocado and
The old reality, it was like it never even existed. It was a dream.
right. And
Yeah.
which is the perfect example of transfiguration.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it gets to, so then you become curious, like, what if you didn't? What if you stayed in the shadow of oppression? What would happen?
Right.
Which
Right.
was really freaking cool, because we're like, go ahead, because this is truly the proof that anything and everything is possible. And so following through your curiosity and going with and sticking in the shadow of oppression and injecting the guy and seeing that he becomes like, he's like non-existent really. And so so that was the example of how, if we continue to live in the shadow of oppression, which is caused by somebody else forcing something upon you. Like that guy, in my opinion, couldn't break free from that because this thing was against his will. This was forced upon him, which is the definition of oppression. And so because it was forced upon him, he didn't get to experience the transmutation and the transfiguration because it wasn't by his own choice. And so you got to.
And can I say something real quick to that before I forget too? It's like, to me, it also feels like that oppression, because I'm so familiar with this gene key in my life. It is 3 times in my chart. It's like, you don't have that choice, but it's also, for me anyways, the way that I felt it is it's this unconscious pattern that's controlling your life. So it's because I've always felt, when I think about this, I said this in our last conversation, the oppression has always been my hand, right? And that's because it's been this unconscious story going through my head that I am the victim, right? So I think it's both. For me, anyways.
No, yeah, that makes sense. So would it be fair to say that because of it being subconscious, your subconscious mind is always looking for things in the outside world to keep you in that oppressed state? Like it's and because it's not conscious, it's still in a sense against your will because it's a subconscious thing that you're doing.
Yeah. So it originated for me from something that actually happened in my childhood. Right. And then a pattern was created because of that. So then I'm just building upon that. And then my reality becomes proof that, whoa, this is actually my truth. I am a victim. Look at all these reasons I have to feel like I'm a victim. That's how this reality works. So until I got to a point where it was like, whoa, okay, I'm able to step back and understand that I am actually the creator of this experience, the co-creator of this experience. So if I choose to not play that victim role anymore, I really don't have to. I can interrupt that pattern and write a new story.
Yeah, it's so cool because getting back to like the virtual reality experience, it's like I just want to follow it up or end with saying like this is not I'm like if we were to put on virtual reality goggles, for example, right? I highly doubt that it would create, I'm sure it would create something amazing, but but
it would probably make me sick to my stomach because I think it's like the motion-y. Yeah, I can't do anything like that.
Well, it's to me, it's like it is the collective energy, the collective consciousness coming in through this space to create this, like, what more could you want kind of thing?
Right.
Like, how could you possibly, because it's so relatable to you. Because
and there's no way I could there's no way I could make this up. If you asked me, say, like, Hoey, tell me a story about the 47th gene key. This is not what I would come up with. But then this is the magic of what happens when we do this work together. You said something. We had a conversation last night, and I can't stop chuckling about this. You said, I like to make up stories just to learn from them. And I'm like, yeah, that's what we do. It's like,
well,
we pull in these stories to learn from them. And that's, and it's play and it's fun. And it's like, you never know what we're going to tap into or what information we're going to pull from the ethers, but we always learn from it.
Yeah. And to like a little, I think, because I really, after that conversation last night, I did go into a little more of a tangent contemplating how real that is.
Yeah.
And I went and looked at it from a worldly perspective, or at least in this country perspective, where Because I said that to you because I created this situation in my own personal life that wasn't even real. But it's like because I spend so much time alone in my glass shop, I realized that my actual job, part of my actual job, um, outside of the hypnosis part and teaching yoga, but my actual most of my time is spent literally creating stories and feeding my brain with whatever I want, whatever I choose to feed my brain with.
Hmm.
And and so I started realizing that most people are so consumed by their work. The majority of our culture is consumed by their jobs. And so there most people don't have the time or they don't have the time to just take a thought to the next thought.
Hmm.
And so that's how this grand hypnosis can easily happen if we're just
Mass hypnosis.
mass
Yeah.
hypnosis.
What that woman said in the beginning of this. And that's where I was at, right? And that's no accident. That's no coincidence, right? When you keep people on the hamster wheel and you're just working to survive, or this is where you derive satisfaction from, or it's just like working to get the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And we're, we've got this like hustle and grind culture ingrained in us.
Mhm.
Of course, you don't have time to sit back and contemplate the mysteries of the universe, right?
Right.
And that's, I think, one of the greatest things that happened in 2020 was the world slowed down enough for many people to start contemplating again.
No, I
That's
think
what happened for me, right?
yeah,
In that stillness and in that silence is when, my awakening happened.
right. Yeah, I think that it is interesting because like if I were going to like I think it's interesting how we have characters. We all have personal characters in our personal lives that we can like if we see everything as a gift and an opportunity that we encounter in our daily lives, it's like writing any good book, right? Like you can take any character in our personal life and you can take them to the absolute extremely worst possible person based on what you see in this person's character, and you can also make them the most amazing beautiful person.
Right.
So they're all of the things that we interact with are just truly opportunities to create this story. But ultimately we are the ones who are living in the story. And so um this is that conversation also had to do with trust and taking one word like trust and thinking about who can we actually really trust, for example, if we're going to ask that most basic simple question. And growing up, my mom would say this thing to me that I hated, especially in my teenage years, like the only person you can really trust is yourself, or
Mm.
you only have yourself for the rest of your life, and you are your own best friend. Nobody's going to
Right.
love you as much as you love yourself. It's only like all of those things. And so I hated that when I was a teenager because I wanted to make people love me as much as I loved myself all the time.
Absolutely.
And and so this forming of trust between you and I, and it's beyond anything I ever could have possibly imagined. And even like every day and every conversation that you and I have, it's still growing and growing and growing. And so it's truly mind-blowing to me how long it takes to truly build trust.
Hmm.
But when we do that, you can see this thing happen where now we come together. And like I was saying in the beginning, it's like this instant, like we know that we are looking for information to help not only you and I, but to share with the world that is for the benefit of everyone. And
Yeah.
and so even when some maybe like when some character comes in, which this has only happened a few times, but when somebody like Bill Gates comes in, for example, there was a part of me that truly didn't even want to say his name, or like didn't even, and I know you shared, like, even when he came into it, it was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And but if you know and you trust that this is all for the greater good, it's totally fine, because we're all just characters in the game. And so if we could all truly look at the entire experience that we're having on the planet as that we are truly all working for the greater good of all,
Mm-hmm.
it is like such an interesting way to look at it, because you can look at it through this lens of, I'm so glad I'm not this person that has to cause all this harm in order
Yeah.
for our evolution to happen. You have to,
Well, sorry, go ahead.
it's just, I just want to say, like, if you are truly focused on our evolution as a
Mm-hmm.
species, then it becomes impossible to not see every character with compassion and empathy and sympathy, because you have to assume and realize that these horrible things have to happen in order for our evolution to occur. And
Right.
and I and I think because of the mass hypnosis and people being so, they don't, most people don't have the luxury of creating scenarios to learn from all day long. But if you can just stay focused on that one thing, which is that we are evolving into an amazingly beautiful existence, and our capabilities and what you and I are doing together is the perfect example of what human beings are capable of. And we can have like these little ego battles or judgment or jealousy or whatever come up in our own little personal friendship relationship with each other, and yet it doesn't break the the goal of, it doesn't do anything, it doesn't break the trust in knowing that you and I are doing this for the greater good.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. It's sorry, my dog is being very whiny right now. I just lost my train of thought.
I didn't even
Um, no, he's outside, like pounding at the window.
know.
He wants to come in. Um, oh my God, I totally lost what I was going to say, Keisha. It was so good.
Well, I think maybe this will help you. Like, I think that I maybe it, because I think trust sounds like it's such an easy little word or whatever, but the trust, I feel like a huge, like you and I trusting each other and allowing each of us to be ourselves and truly play. This is all about play.
Mm-hmm.
We come here to planet Earth to play in the duality. And if we really look at it as this is a virtual reality or whatever, like it's not, there's so many different schools of thought, but if this is truly a virtual reality, a video game, it's not even real or whatever, like, and then, like, okay, I'm going to come and play with you, Hillary, and I'm going to have like these um scenarios come up where it's like, I want to do it this way and you want to do it that way, and we like it doesn't really happen like that with you and I, but I'm just saying, like, these so-called negative emotions come into it. And um if we can play with those, because that is truly when we get to, when we do actually embrace the shadow of all of the gene keys. Why I love the gene keys is embracing these shadows. And like I'm super curious to see what comes up with dishonor, because dishonor is like dishonoring ourselves, dishonoring each other, and dishonor in general.
Mm-hmm.
um if we can come and play in these like so-called negative emotions, like you got to in this last experience as the villain, and you're like, you only, I mean, not you only, this is an assumption, but I'm assuming that you had to be the victim for all of this period of time in order to truly be able to embrace the villain. And
Yeah.
so you had to have all of that experience, which is a lot. Like, it's a shit ton of victim experience. And like, you had to fully feel all of that in order to be able to be like, yes, like now I get to
be the villain.
yeah, now I get to be the
Mhm.
evil one. And that is what gaining emotional intelligence is all about. And to me, that's why I love the Gene Keys, is because it's this amazing roadmap to be able to truly gather emotional intelligence. If you can truly embrace the shadows, it's like all it's doing for you is helping you or us is to helping us gain emotional intelligence so that we can ultimately have true compassion for the entire planet that we come here to play, in which we come here to play.
And I just wanted to say back to like when you were talking about people having to come into this life and play these specific roles. There's people in my direct immediate family, and many people that we have in our lives that come in and play this role. It's like, it's very difficult. And those people that we have these difficult relationships or may have caused harm to us are also our greatest teachers. And when you can expand that to these bigger world players, and we're not condoning war or anything like that, but when you can look at it all through this bigger lens of like, this stuff has to happen in order for our own consciousness to continue to evolve. And that's what this is all about for us. It's just expansion. And for me, it's just so fun to be able to get to show people in real time, like me, 6 years ago, could never imagine this, because to me, there was nothing beyond this physical world, really, and so this is really just like anything is possible. And we're like, I'm proving this to myself all of the time because of the box that I used to live in. It's like, I just keep pushing that limit more and more and more. And the more I open up to more of these quote unquote sacred technologies within myself, the more they continue to expand. It's like, working out a muscle at the gym,
Absolutely.
The more we do this and the more our trust goes, the more I trust myself, the more I don't doubt these little like nuggets that I get, the more I'm like, oh yeah, whoa, I can't, like, we all are telepathic, right? But we're just not taught that. And the more you work out that muscle, the stronger it becomes. That's just how it is. And this is super fun. And
So fun.
I love that I get to continue to challenge myself and push the limits of what I think is possible.
Yeah.
So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, our first experiment doing this in this way. And there will be more to come in this realm. And if you haven't listened to our latest story, The Invisible Cube of Genius, you can check that out. And thanks for joining us. We're happy you're here, and we hope you'll come back and play with us some more.
Yeah. And join in, like, comments, maybe even some suggestions of things to, it would be really fun if people would put in the comments, like anything, like any suggestions for us to go discover some answers to that probably won't make, they'll be different. They won't be obvious answers. And
it's going to come through in a weird story. So it'll eventually make sense.
I really hope that people do engage and want to participate in this, because we are trying to bring in the collective energy from everyone, because that would be super, super fun. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. See ya.
Bye.